Hello all, welcome to the ninth episode of Introduction to Math Function series. In this episode, we are going to talk about the inverse of a function. Now to understand the inverse of a function, let's go back to the basic definition of a function, right? So let's say we have a function y is equal to fx, right? What is it essentially doing, right? We have a value of x, right? And based on that function, let's say y is equal to 2x, right? For every value of x, y is double the value of x, right? So when we give x equal to 1, y is 2. When x is 3, y is 6, and so on and so forth, right? Now, what is the inverse of a function? The inverse of a function will be any other function which exists such that it takes this as an input and gives back x. So essentially, let's say we have a function g which takes this fx as an input and gives back x. If that happens, then function g would be the inverse of function f, right? It may sound a bit confusing maybe, but let's take a few examples to understand how do we find the inverse of a function. To calculate the inverse of a function, there are two basic steps. The first step is that we swap x and y. And in the second step, right, after we have swapped x and y, we write y in terms of x. Now this y is the inverse of x. Let's take some examples. Let's take an example to see how do we find the inverse of a function. So suppose we have a function y is equal to 2x plus 3, right? So we saw there are two steps of finding the inverse. In the first step, we swap x and y. So we swap y with x and we swap x with y, right? So this is our step 1. In the second step, we're going to now write y in terms of x. So we're going to do minus 3 here and minus 3 here. So we're going to get 2y is equal to x minus 3. Like 2y is equal to x minus 3. We divide both sides by 2 to get y is equal to x minus 3 divided by 2, right? So this is how we use the two steps to find the inverse of a function. Now x minus 3 divided by 2, this is the inverse of the function 2x plus 3, and this inverse is denoted by this symbol f to the power of minus 1, right? So this is the inverse of the given function. Let's take another example and see how do we find the inverse of this function. So here we have the function f of x is equal to 3x plus 8 divided by 10. Now f of x, or the function, is nothing but the value of y. So this is nothing but y, right? So in the first step, you're going to swap x and y. So we're going to swap y with x. So x is equal to 3y plus 8 divided by 10, right? We multiply with 10 on both sides and we get 10x is equal to 3y plus 8. Essentially, we're trying to now write y in terms of x, right? So we do minus 8 and minus 8 and we get 3y is equal to 10x minus 8. We divide by 3 on both sides to finally get y is equal to 10x minus 8 divided by 3. So this is the inverse of the original function, and this is something which will be represented by f to the power of minus 1x. So this is how we donate or represent the inverse of a function. In this case, the inverse would be 10x minus 8 divided by 3. Hopefully you guys would have got a good understanding about what is the inverse of a function, how it is represented, and how do we find it, right? In case you have any questions, please do reach out to us at info.mathleads@gmail.com. If you like the video, please do like and subscribe. See you in the next session.